All right, y'all, welcome back and happy Monday. Today, we're going to be talking about some changes coming to Tennessee's defense in 2025, at least from where I'm sitting at. And I'm mostly talking about playing more man-to-man coverage just because we have some safeties that I think that their man coverage skills will be better. Linebackers, same thing. Just coverage in general should be better. And also, we've gotten smaller. P and I talked about this for like the past couple of weeks, that if you look at our roster versus last year, especially with our front, it's smaller, but maybe that means that we can do some different things. And the best team for me to, point to would be Notre Dame last year in 2024, because they were much smaller than Tennessee's team. Really, our team this year, our defense this year is going to be even bigger than what theirs was last season, but still smaller than what ours was last year. But I think that we could replicate several of these things. And of course, we will be jumping inside of the film room and taking a look at Notre Dame versus Georgia, because that's a game that Tennessee had no sacks in. Of course, Syracuse is our first game. I think that Tennessee's going to win. I'm not really looking past it too much, but I'm a fan. Players, they need to be locked into week one and then week two. But for me, I think that we win those first couple of ball games versus Georgia. If we can win that one, we set ourselves up great for the rest of the year. So gonna be watching this type of stuff very, very closely. But y'all, please do us a favor, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. This video is coming out first to everyone that's a member on our Patreon and everyone that's a member on our YouTube channel. And y'all can be a member on YouTube by clicking that join button just below. But Patreon might be, a little bit better for you just because we can do more things there. So y'all can go and join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Bluechip Breakdown. All right, so what we're looking at right here is from Pro Football Focus. This is just the coverage breakdown from Notre Dame and Tennessee in 2024. The first thing that jumps out to me is cover one, which is man-to-man coverage with one safety high. Notre Dame ran that at 52.3%. Tennessee did it at 20.1%. So I think that will take a big step forward for Tennessee. Maybe not a huge one, but I could see us up over maybe like 30% man-to-man coverage in 2025, just because, like I said, we have guys that can do more with the man. I would say, really, especially with our safeties. Cover zero, that's another form of man. Typically with cover one or cover zero, you're going to be blitzing. Cover zero, I mean, like 99% of the time you will be blitzing. Cover one, you could go robber or blitz. That's basically how that works. And we'll talk about what robber looks like. But with cover zero, they were at 5.5%. Tennessee was at 4%. And then with zone cover two, Notre Dame was at 5.8%. Tennessee was at 8.3%. Cover three, Tennessee was at 35.5%. Notre Dame was about 22%. Quarters, all right, Tennessee's at close to 16%. Notre Dame's at 6.4%, and cover six, which I really don't like, but we will actually look at a time when I think it's proper for us to be trying to run that. Tennessee was at 11%. Notre Dame is at 3.5%. So different zone coverages. Most of y'all might not know what that means, but it's just man versus zone. So these first two categories, these are man categories. These other ones, these are zones. So Tennessee ran a lot more zone than Notre Dame did last year. So what does that mean? Okay, let's talk about the pass rushing stats. So right here you have Notre Dame versus Georgia. Right here you have Tennessee versus Georgia. So this is what I'm talking about. Versus pro-style systems, it's so much better. And really almost versus every single system is better just to be able to man up. If you got the skilled players who can do that, or if you have players, period, who can do that, then that's the best kind of a defense, because it's simple. And also it tightens up windows. It's easier to be able to generate pressure. But you can see that Tennessee had 0 sacks versus Georgia. Okay. Notre Dame had 3 hits. Notre Dame had 7. Tennessee had 0 hurries. Notre Dame had 12. Tennessee had 8. Now, coming on over here, looking at the win percentage, Notre Dame was winning 44% of the time, and that's just with the pass rush. So whether that's with D linemen or whether that's with blitzes, that's how they were winning, close to 44%. Tennessee was close to about 33%. But this is the huge one. Pressure rate, which this kind of brings in together everything. Tennessee was at 13%, which is horrible. Notre Dame was close to like 49%. So this is where we have got to get better at, and that's why I'm saying versus offensive styles like Georgia, like Florida, maybe not as much Florida, but definitely Georgia versus those Buckeyes. Man-to-man coverage can work well. You can't always play man. You have to mix it up versus teams that are very, very talented. But Georgia's system is going to be the exact same as it was last year. It's pretty much been the same since like the 80s or 90s, right? They've changed up some things, but their mindset and how they want to play hasn't changed too much. Now, let's talk about the actual coverage stats, okay? And break down, what group of players did better versus Georgia. So Tennessee safeties versus Georgia. All right, we had 6 targets in coverage, gave up 5 of them. That's 83.3%. So Notre Dame safeties, they had 6 targets. I'm sorry, they had 8 targets in coverage. They gave up 5 catches, 62.5%. So a difference of about 20% here. That is pretty big. Again, Tennessee played more zone, so not quite apples to apples, but that's the whole point here is that if you play more man, especially now with safeties who we feel like could do a great job playing man, it's gonna be more difficult for Georgia to be able to hit on these passes also because the pressure comes on. So looking at Tennessee's lack of pressure rate only at 13%, this is actually pretty good. I mean, if the pressure rate was even at like 30%, these numbers would be much better for our guys that were playing coverage. Now, Tennessee's linebackers were targeted 11 times, gave up 9 catches, about 82%. That's not absolutely horrible, but I think that it'll get even better than what Notre Dame's was last year. They were targeted in coverage 5 times, gave up 4 catches, 80%. Now, cornerbacks, Notre Dame's, they were targeted 18 times, gave up 11 catches, 61.1%. And Tennessee's cornerbacks were targeted 22 times and only gave up 12 catches, 54.5%. That is freaking excellent. Okay, that is outstanding. Tennessee's corners are better than Notre Dame's are. We were better than them last year. Our safeties, I think that if we could have played more man, maybe the numbers looked a little bit different. If we had some sort of a pass rush, would have been closer. Linebackers were kind of on par, but I think that Tennessee's just everyone who plays in coverage, and this is not showing our Leos, it's because I didn't even want to throw that in there. There really is no point. I'm hoping that we don't drop them in coverage as much for some of these pro style systems because for what? Like, let them do what they do, which is rush the freaking passer. So hopefully that is what the game plan looks like. But I think that Tennessee could definitely replicate some of these things that Notre Dame did in 2024. Now, let's go ahead and jump inside of this film room and let me break down some of the just differences with what Notre Dame did. Not even really versus necessarily Tennessee, but let me just show you how their defense worked, okay, for most of the year. So they're going to be doing a whole bunch of cover one and things like that. This first one, this is a cover one blitz. All right. So we'll talk a little bit about what cover one blitz looks like. These are the players that are coming, so they're going to be blitzing that linebacker. Like I said, some of their like tackles, right? Some of their tackles at 280, like 265, they're going to do a whole lot of stunts and things like that. We'll talk about how the stunts look. And then, their linebackers, they have a guy that's only 220 that plays will for them. They've got another guy, I think, that was 231. He's number 24. He played some will, some Mike, but then I think number 34 here, who's actually looks like he's blitzing here, he was about 240. But Tennessee's players, I think, our linebackers, we have guys that are probably better athletes, okay? That are maybe not as big as 34. Doesn't really matter because we're just as strong and we're much better athletes. But you see, they're also very sound at tackling. Tennessee's gonna have to work on that. Whenever you play man-to-man coverage, you got to be very sound with your tackles. And also, I think that their scheme was really good to slow down that quarterback's legs. Just very, very well done. Coach Banks, he can replicate it because now we have the guys who can operate it. You know what I'm saying? So he can replicate things just like this. You'll be able to, minimize what Georgia likes to do. But their quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, he can use his legs. I think he's a pretty decent option running the football. So you have to watch out for that whenever you're playing man. But cover one robber can help out with it. So this is cover one robber. Like I said, it's cover one. Typically, it's going to be like a blitz, or you're going to have a robber, or it might just be straight up cover one man. But the cover one means that you have one safety deep. All of the coverages, that's just telling you how many safeties are playing deep. All right, so here, okay, we've got a safety who's playing that robber. So in cover one, just very, very quickly, the middle of the field is typically open. So he's playing here, slowing that down. It's going to take the quarterback longer to find their people because versus cover one, you want to be quick with the football coming out of your hands. So three-step drop stuff, that would be slants, drags, so on and so forth. But also this robber, he can spy this quarterback too. So this is how you can slow things down with teams like this. But you see that the coverage is great down the field. Tennessee can most definitely replicate that playing man. You take away that deep stuff and then all the short stuff. They have to try to throw it to the outside with really, really tight coverage. That's where you can get the interceptions playing in cover one or just playing man, period, is on more of like the outside stuff. So this is a stunt. Anytime that y'all see purple and gold, that means that that's a stunt. The purple players are just trying to occupy those blockers, and the ones in gold, those are the ones that are, really should be getting to the quarterback and generating pressure. So, we kind of spread this, offensive line out, and then we come back to the middle. And they pick it up pretty well, but it's just that flash of a guy moving over really, really quick. And you say, hey, there's a big empty spot here. I got to get this football out right now. It's just like mind games, right? So this is chess, not checkers. This is a cover one robber, okay? So they're going to do a whole lot of cover one robber. And actually, this one, I think that this is cover one, but I might have to double check. This might be zone. So that's the guy who's going to be playing robber. So as this motion comes over, you'll see that safety that we just highlighted comes down. Now the other safety who's backing up, he's playing in that box. Okay, so yeah, this looks like this might actually be cover three. Okay, so that could be cover one robber or cover three. The thing about it is they play it so well that sometimes it looks like man. Sometimes it looks like zone. But this is very simple from this end zone copy. They have a guy here, number 44. I think he might be like 265, something like that. But he just uses his speed in a one-on-one situation coming off of his edge. This is why I say, what's the point? Like, I mean, yeah, sometimes you have to let your Leos and stuff drop into coverage and place a man. But that should be very, very sparingly versus a pro style system. Just let the freaking hunters hunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys aren't world beaters on that offensive line. There's no reason that we can't beat them with our speed. I don't give a crap about playing pass rush lanes on. Hey, dude, you're faster than this offensive lineman. Use your speed, use your hands, and bend the corner, get to the quarterback and knock his butt out. That's the way the thing should look. So this one is a cover one robber. All right. And y'all are going to be learning a whole lot of football watching this channel. So that's the robber right there. So we have a linebacker. That's their will linebacker. He's the one that's only like 221 or something. Really small, not really small, but, relatively speaking. He's going to be more off the ball guy playing with some speed and all that. But he's playing right here. Okay, I'm taking away things. Watching the quarterback's eyes. Where's he going with it? I'm right here. Now that wide receiver, tight end, whoever gets alligator arms because he feels this is a linebacker there, they might kill me. And really, Notre Dame only brings 3 here. So they're dropping 8, only bringing 3. All right. Gotta love that. And they do a really good job of just pushing that pocket back. They're just really violent with their hands and with their effort. Tennessee does that same thing, but I just want to see us take that step forward. They don't have guys up front. I think that their front seven is not as talented as Tennessee's front seven was last year. It's just all in how you use them, right? So this is a cover one blitz. Okay, cover one blitz. You see, Georgia likes to do a whole lot of pre-snap movement. This is the guy who's blitzing here. I think that this is number 24. He can play Mike or Will. Again, he's at about 231 pounds. We got guys that can replicate that. Edwin Spillman, that's who this is. Pretty much same size, kind of like same skill set. He might be a little bit better out in space than Edwin Spillman is, but either way, okay, he's not really going to do much here. He's just blitzing, taking up a guy. Let me take up this guy so the other guys get free. Covers down the field, looks great. That's all that you're asking for. That's all that you're looking for. That's it. Very, very simple. So again, seeing it from this end zone copy, shifting things around. They shift, we shift, they move, we move. All right. Change some things up. I think that actually Gunner Stockton might mess something up with this. So there looks like there's a lot going on here. But the circle, that white circle with both of these players, that's man-to-man coverage. Something that Notre Dame did versus Georgia was they would blitz from the running back side, and then they would play man-to-man on that back side. We have guys like Arion Carter, Jordan Burns. They can do this, okay? It's a tougher cover because if that running back goes to his right, then that's going to be tough for that linebacker to have to go catch up to him. But if you got guys that can run, you can play it this exact same way. And it messed up Georgia's blocking scheme. Y'all will see that. So stunt right there on that left side, purple and gold. Okay, and then you just got kind of like your normal 1s and 2s. You have a linebacker that's blitzing here, and then you also have that edge guy that's going to just set that edge, okay? So that's how that looks, right? So boom, taking up blocks, killing those tackles. 3-step drop, got to get it out quick. We stay on top of the route, nowhere to go. Beautiful, okay? Tennessee can definitely do this. Definitely do it, and I'm looking forward to it. Cover one blitz. All right, cover one blitz. All this shift and all this movement. Number 3, that's the will linebacker. That's the smaller backer. He's going to be blitzing here. So just to show, hey, you know what? We can switch different guys here. Also notice he's blitzing from that running back side. They kept on doing that. And typically on that running back side, Georgia's going to have less blockers. And what Georgia does here, and this is actually pretty interesting what they do here. This was kind of stupid on Georgia's part. And once the player art comes up, I'll tell you exactly what this is. This one's going to look kind of crazy, so you have to bear with me. There's a lot going on here. But if you look at the linebacker to the left with that white circle that's manned up on that running back, like we said, they were doing back to the opposite side. That was the linebacker that was picking them up. So we also have what should have been with the Mike linebacker, okay, playing man on number 84. But 84 has to come to the right side because Notre Dame had been blitzing to the running back side where there's really less blockers. They had been blitzing to that side. So now the tight end has to go over there and try to help. And that just means that Mike linebacker, he can either blitz, he can play in some sort of a zone, or he can be a spy. So Georgia's going to run that running back to the same side that the linebacker's on that's going out for that route. And it was just kind of like a stupid, this is Notre Dame beating Georgia at chess. That's what this is. Beating them, we can beat them too. You see that pressure's getting there. These guys, just on those stunts and things like that, they're just playing hard. All right. These are not really world beaters. We kind of made them look like that, but we got to do better, and we will do better because now we have guys that are more pass rushing threats up front. The stunts and all that with our tackles is going to be absolutely beautiful. So this is a cover one robber. Okay. Cover one robber. Y'all can see all the movement, all that good stuff. All right, switching up, switching up. So this is who's going to be playing robber here. All right, it's that safety, and there's a tail here. Whenever Notre Dame goes to that robber look, they're showing like a too high look. Okay, but that robber just finds a empty spot in that zone, in that middle area, or finds a guy that might come open, and I'm just going to cut that route off, and makes it easier on the front four to be able to get home. Right. So how does this part of it here look? And Georgia just takes forever to snap the daggone football. So we have stunts coming from both sides. Okay, so we've got the purples coming to the middle, and we're trying to get the pressure coming from the outside. All right, we can definitely replicate this. Okay, we have guys who, and then you also see like with those stunts, that part of the job of the purple players is to try to knock that blocker off. You want to try to run smack dab into him and free your guy up, because you hold on to him, hold him here, someone's coming over, boom, and then shed, get around, go and make a play. This is cover 3. All right, so this is one of the first zones. Like I said, that second one could have been zone, but probably was man. So this is definitely cover 3. This is obviously cover 3. And I would say that like the biggest thing about teams that play so much man is that once you go to cover 3, it looks like man, like the offense is used to seeing man, because it's that same one high look. So this is just the same thing where you got a guy coming off the edge, being a rusher, not having to drop back into coverage. You don't have to worry about that, son. We want you hunting. Beat this guy. You're better than him. Beat this guy. Get to the quarterback. Strip sack, baby. Let's go get the football. See this, and then put some folks down on your way to it. Get fired up about it. This is what I want to see, y'all. This is what I'm looking forward to. I think that we could definitely replicate it. All right, so this is a cover 2 blitz. So they will mix some things up, but they do it in really good situations. This is actually a blitz coming from that corner, who's the furthest on the outside, but also from the outside linebacker, right? So you're overloading that side, and watch how brilliant this whole thing is, right? You'll understand it better from that end zone angle, okay? And this here shows you everything's covered up. Beautiful, beautiful work. And watch that cornerback coming downhill now. Watch this cornerback. Watch this guy. Hold on. Let me highlight him for y'all now, okay? Watch this guy here. See, this is what you need. This is what you're looking for. This guy right here. Watch him coming downhill quick. Let me slow this down quick. Are you willing to, on the outside with your smaller skill players, lay your body on the line and try to go knock somebody out? I think that we got players who will definitely do that. Tennessee's cornerbacks, very physical. They ain't scared of contact. So this is how this looks, right? This one looks kind of crazy. But stunts, purple and gold, okay? Everyone gets that. Coming off of that left side, that red arrow, that's the cornerback blitz, all right? Then you've got those linebackers kind of showing some pressure here, dropping into the zones. So the one more to the left, it says flat there. He's taking the spot that the cornerback leads from. But because we're bringing the pressure from that left side, where you've got a linebacker going out in coverage at, okay, that could be a huge problem. But they're going to have to guard some skill players. You say, hey, we're going to bring the pressure from that side, make the quarterback have to go to the other side so that they can't throw it to that spot. This is, again, Notre Dame winning at chess, beating Kirby Smart and, his whole bunch of goons, beating them at chess. Coach Banks can do the exact same thing. Exact same thing. And I would love to see some of this versus Florida, too. All right, so cover 6 blitz. This is one of the only times that you're going to really want to try to run cover 4. The pressure's coming from that left side, right? You've got what looks like maybe a safety or maybe like a nickel player, and that linebacker, something else. This Mike linebacker does a great job. If something crosses your dadgum face, blow their butts up. In Notre Dame over the course of this game, if something crossed those linebackers' faces, they were tackling them. They were, boom, knocking them out. Jeremiah Thielander does a great job with this. Great job with this. So it's not something that we can't do. I just want to see us do it more, right? I just want to see us doing it more. Boom. And doesn't really blow them up that well there, but this is a timing offense. So throwing that timing off, now pressure's getting there, errant passes, right? So we'll see it again from this end zone copy, okay? We're going to see it again from here. They got, a tight split with number 6 right there. So we got the stunt with the purple, okay? So that's the guys up front. And then that linebacker works with this stunt on this blitz. It's going to open up great. And then you've got the pressure also coming from the outside of that. So just a really nice blitz package, okay? So you guys shifting over. All right, so now they shifted that guy. Okay, so boom, pressure's coming from that same side. Slow a guy down, try to trip him up, get to the quarterback, hit him, make him feel you. So that's it there, y'all. These are just some of the plays, and really, Notre Dame, I think that I had maybe like 20 or 30 plays versus Georgia where they were able to generate pressure, and most of it looked just like this. Now, there are some times if you want to kind of like live by the blitz, live by playing man-to-man coverage, if the pressure doesn't get there, which Georgia, I think it was 1 or 2 times where they had like 8 people in there blocking, 8, 9 people in there blocking, something like that. Have one person going out on a deep route on like a double move or 2 people. It's tougher then, obviously, if that, if they can pick up all those blitzes and things like that. But for the most part, obviously, we know what happened in this game. Notre Dame goes on to win it. So I would think that Tennessee, especially versus these pro-style systems, will replicate some of these same things, and I think that we're definitely built for it. We have the guys up front that are a little bit smaller, and they're not nearly as small as Notre Dame's line or defense was last season. And really, Notre Dame's secondary, they had good size, but we are smaller than what we previously were, but we're going to be way faster. I think that we're still going to be very, very strong. So I'm looking forward to seeing more pressure in some of these critical games, something that, we haven't seen for like the past couple of seasons. And that's going to, I think, help us to be able to ultimately win this game versus Georgia in week 3. But those are my thoughts. Please share yours down in that comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be talking to y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.